Please listen to the rules and procedures that will follow for tonight's meeting.
Good evening, and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Town of Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals. The following is the procedure that will be followed tonight. The matters will be called in the order they appear on the calendar, with adjourned matters being called at the end of the regularly scheduled matters. Matters cannot be heard prior to their published scheduled time. When your matter is called, please submit the affidavit of posting to the secretary and proceed to the podium and give your name and address. The chairperson will then swear you in and read into the record information we have from your application, comments from various town departments, and any correspondence received on your application. The chairperson will then ask you to make whatever presentation you wish to make to the board. After you have made your presentation, the board will ask whatever questions the board deems appropriate, and then we will ask for comments from the public. If you wish to speak for or against an application, we ask that you wait until you're acknowledged. Come forward, give us your name and address, tell us where your property is in relation to the property that's in question tonight, and then please direct your comments to the board, not the applicant or the applicant's representative. We have to keep a record, and we cannot do that if there are people talking over each other or cross conversations. If someone has spoken for or against an application, and they have said exactly the same thing that you wish to say, it will have the same force and effect in the record if you give your name and address, are sworn in, and say that you join in those comments. If you have anything additional to say, please don't hesitate to do so, but keep in mind that you will be given only one opportunity to speak. After the public has spoken, the board may ask the applicant to come back to answer any questions that may have come up as a result of the public comments, or for the applicant to summarize. When the applicant comes back to answer any additional questions, if that happens, that does not start a second round of public comments. Once the matter has been heard, various things may occur. The board may decide the application immediately. It may reserve decision. If the board reserves decision, that does not mean the matter is approved or denied. It just means that the board needs more time to decide, may want to go out and look at the site again, or might want to review the documents and testimony further before making a decision. In either event, the applicant will receive the board's decision in writing shortly after the board makes its decision. If the application is approved, that does not mean that you can then go ahead and start construction or whatever it is that you requested from the board. You will have to wait for the building permit to be obtained from the building department before your go-ahead. On some occasions, the matter may be continued for another night. If it is continued, in most cases it will be for the submission of documents, a new survey, new plans, or something of that nature. If that's the case, no one needs to come back on the new date. The documents will be submitted and no further testimony will be taken. On rare occasions, a matter may be continued for future testimony. If that's the case, then people would have to come back to testify. If matters are adjourned at an open meeting on the scheduled date of hearing, no further notice need be given unless specifically required by the board on the date the adjournment is granted. 3 rules that may affect your ability to proceed tonight. 1. If the sign was not posted for 10 days, we cannot hold the hearing tonight. 2. If you commence this proceeding while you own the property, but no longer own the property, and you are here now to continue with the application, you will need either the written consent of the new owner or the new owner to be present for the hearing. This situation could come about if you sold your house or building, money was held in escrow at closing for a certificate of occupancy or permit, and you're here tonight to clear that up. Lastly, if your application is a commercial application and it's other than a renewal, and there is more than one tenant in the building, then you need your landlord to be here. Is there any applicant that has any difficulty with those situations and would need an adjournment tonight?
Is there anyone that would need an adjournment? Please rise and join the board in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin, there are two adjournments on our agenda tonight. Application 24207, Five Star Auto, property located in West Babylon. That's being adjourned to December the 12th. Is anybody here on that application? Okay. And application 24204, New Gen Auto, also in West Babylon. That is being adjourned to next week, November the 21st. There's anybody here on that application? Okay. First application tonight is application 24200 of Cindy Imbert, property located in Lindenhurst. Name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Chris Alvino, 363 North Wellwood Avenue, Lindenhurst. I work for Harold Gephardt.
For the record, there's a planning memo dated November 1st, 2024. Environmental control memo dated November 8th, 2024. The site abuts regulated tidal wetlands. The applicant should contact New York State DEC to ascertain if a wetland permit is required. Tax map acting as an area map. A survey by Jason Lettingham dated November 15th, 2023. And
Chairman, there's 4 photographs, and the site plan by Harold E. Gephardt dated February 20th, 2024.
okay. Before we begin, we were past the property today and there was no sign posted. I know you submitted pictures of a sign posted. Why wasn't the sign still posted today?
It should have been on, it should be there, it should have been there.
I drove by at noon, lunchtime, and there was no sign on that property. I went back twice. I seen the picture.
We've seen the
Today,
pictures, but
It was not there.
It's unbeknownst to me.
so you're swearing, the affidavit swears that you posted the sign for 10 days, but evidently it wasn't posted today. So,
Well, the other thing that's, I mean, I got a survey from Scalise. You sure you have the right ad? I mean,
Yeah.
what surveys, you said it was a different surveyor that you had the name?
no, the sign.
The sign that's
Sign wasn't
No,
posted.
but I'm just saying, but maybe something's, you sure,
Survey.
who was
has
the
nothing-
surveyor, did you say you had?
No, we're not talking about it. We have nothing to do with the survey.
Well, the reason why I'm saying that is just make sure we have the right address. Maybe you went past the
No,
wrong house.
I have the right address. 15 West Santa Barbara.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm just double checking because the survey that I have is not from that surveyor, so I thought maybe there was a mix-up. But
No, that sign wasn't there this afternoon.
yeah, I don't see why anyone would take it down.
I mean, it has to be posted for 10 days.
I mean, if we have to get an adjournment, then we have to get
Well,
an
if the sign's
adjournment.
not posted, I mean, we have to have it posted for 10 days. That's the requirement. And, Mr. Rigney drove past there today and the sign wasn't posted, so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see anyone taking the sign down.
So you're requesting an adjournment?
Well, if that's what I have to do.
It's only
Yeah.
fair to the neighbors.
Everybody should have, that's what well, you know what is involved.
Yeah, I know,
So,
I've
I
been-
mean,
I've
it
been
has to
doing
be
this-
posted, so.
Yeah, I mean, it
Right.
just never happened to me before, where the sign was taken down. I mean, maybe in a storm, but I think they
There was
were
no
up.
storm, there hasn't been
Yeah, I
any
mean,
storms
that's what I'm saying.
recently. So we're waiting for, yeah, exactly. we're waiting for- So you'll have to repost the sign. You're not going to have enough time to get it done by next week. It still had to be 10 days.
Yeah, I
So the next available date is
Can
December
I see,
5th.
just see those pictures real quick?
Shouldn't really be posted on the house either.
So our next available date is December the 5th. Is that okay for you? That's okay for you? Okay, so,
Sign should be on the lawn, like posted on a piece of plywood, visible from the street.
Okay.
all right, so we're going to adjourn this application to December the 5th due to the sign not being posted. It's application 24200. All right?
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Next application, okay, hold on, I'll send that back, I guess. Yeah. Next applications is applications 203A and 203B, property located in North Babylon.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Darrell J. Conway, 57 West Main Street, Babylon, New York.
Okay. For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated November 7th, 2024 on the A application. We have the same planning memo, no, it's not the same planning memo, but, so we have a planning memo on the B application, also dated November 7th, 2024. We have tax map acting as an area map, which would be both applications. We have a survey on both the A and the B application. Was there an overall on this, or no
Yes.
overall?
Yes.
Okay,
It was
I don't
the
have it, but
application.
okay.
Is it a 3-lot
Is it a
subdivision?
file? Okay.
I have some extras if you
No,
want.
that's all right, we do, as long as we have one. I'm asking because I like to look at that, that's why.
It's the third, the middle one is not part of this, so.
Yeah. And? You have the overall? Okay.
Overall by Michael K. Wicks, dated
What the hell is it? I've never seen it. Surveyed, on these, it's surveyed last on September 2nd, 2024?
I believe so. I know it's very recent.
Should be, oh, it's more recent than these
No,
two?
I,
Okay, it's undated. The overall is undated.
oh, okay.
Not a problem. And what else you have?
no photos, no nothing.
Okay.
The DEC memos?
Sorry. Yeah, Department of Environmental Control, dated November 12th, 2024. Will not result in substantial adverse, wastewater, okay. And I think that's it.
For the record, Mr. Chairman, we just got Cabot County Planning dated November 14th, 2024, a matter of local determination. And we do just need an amendment. It was advertised as Eastern Home Building Corp. It should be Eastern Home Building Corp. So we just will need both of them amended.
What is it, this one?
Highlighted in your agenda
Oh, I'm sorry.
is the name of the applicant.
Oh, okay. So the name of the applicant should be Eastern Home Building Corp. Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Housekeeping. Okay. Okay, I think we got it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm here on behalf of Easton Home Building Corp., located 1405 Deer Park Avenue in North Babylon. The subject site is noted as 1401 Deer Park Avenue in North Babylon. The tax map designation is District 100, Section 112, Block 2, Lot 66. The proposal is for a 3-lot subdivision, but only 2 of the lots require zoning board of appeals action. The overall lot is 21,922 square feet. Proposal is to subdivide it into 3 lots. Lot number 1, which is at the corner of Spruce and Deer Park Avenue, is 7,422 square feet. Lot number 2 is 7,500 square feet, and that's why it's not before this board. And lot 3 is 7,000 square feet. The property is zone C residence. I'd like to go over each lot individually, lots number 1 and 3. The requested relief for lot number 1 is a diminishment of Front Street width along Spruce from 75 to 74 feet, and diminish the lot area from 7,500 square feet to 7,422 square feet. It is in compliance with all other provisions of the town zoning requirements. I don't want to debate this issue, but it's something that I learned about 30 years ago. Section 213-232 of the town code provides that if a that it's entitled Effect of Street Widening on Buildable Lots. The section specifically provides where the frontage is dedicated to the town of Babylon for widening of the street, said lot shall be credited with the lot area and the frontage taken by the town. If you take a look at the survey, you'll realize that in fact, the town took a corner, the turning radius, and that the lot itself, without the town have taken in that lot, would have met the 75-foot street frontage and the 7,500 square foot lot area. I offer the town code. I realize it doesn't come up very often, but it's there. But the requested relief is so de minimis, I don't think I want to waste the time debating whether the code whether this is applicable, but it is actually.
We agree.
I discussed it with Rich in the building department, and he glazed over and said, "Get out of here." The next lot number 3, is the requested relief is diminished street frontage from 75 to 70, and diminished lot area from 7,500 to 7,000. It is also in compliance with all other zoning requirements. What I'd like to do now is talk about the design of the new homes. I'm offering three renderings of the new homes. It's also duplicated by this rendering up here, which is bigger. We're proposing 2 new homes that will be single-family, 2-story colonial design. The first floor will have a living room, a dining room, kitchen, an interior garage, and a half bath. The second floor will have 4 bedrooms and 2 full baths. One of the other items that was questioned was the basement. It is a full basement, and I offer at this time the foundation plan, which shows the full basement. We believe that after you look at all of the items of the improvements, we believe that the subject development is in conformance with the surrounding neighborhood and will not have any detrimental effect on the community. We believe it will enhance the value and the aesthetics of the neighborhood with 2 new residents and 1 completely renovated home. That's very important that if you take a look, I'm offering now, it's hand-drawn, and I don't vouch for my artistic ability, but this is a Suffolk County tax map of Section 112, and what I've done is I've done a 200-foot radius, and when you get to see this, you'll note that every lot that is less than 5 to 6,000 square feet is noted in green. So when that does make it around, what you'll see is that these lots between 7,422 and 7,000 square feet, these lots are substantially below that. In fact, out of the 23 residential lots within 200 feet, that's that radius that I drew, 19 of those lots are between 5,000 and 6,000 square feet. The only lot that is larger than the subject lots that are part of this application is Lot 3, which is immediately adjacent to our lot. The point being is that we are in excess of pretty much the entire community, and we will be far bigger than 19 of the 23 lots within the 200-foot radius. I have also reviewed the memo from planning on both lots, lot number 1 and lot number 3. We are in agreement with the covenants and restrictions. If this board was nice enough to grant the variances, we are in agreement with the covenants and restrictions recited in both memos, and also the conditions recited in both memos. We ask that the board consider this and consider it in the totality. It is far in excess of anything that is in that neighborhood. If you went, I don't want to take your time, but if you went even further to 500 feet, you'd find that this, again, substantially larger than most of the homes in that community. Most of the homes were developed between 5,000 and 6,000 square feet. With that said, I believe we are in conformance with the community. The requested relief is very de minimis on lot number 3. We don't even believe there should be a variance on lot number 1, but we'd ask that this board consider granting the application, both of them. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Turn hearing over to Mr., no, we still can't get this right, to Ms. McCullough.
Just off of seeing your renderings, is there a reason why we kept the middle property lot to, I don't know if that's 1/4?
Because it's an existing home that has been renovated or is going to be renovated. The reason is about $100,000.
I mean, it just kind of looks sandwiched and sometimes.
Well, the lots are the same size. I mean, so that lot, that home is there, and it's going to be invested. They're going to invest in the renovation, but obviously the difference in ripping it down and providing a new one versus, and that's actually, that lot is not even before this board.
Yeah, correct. We're aware. Just wondering, just off of view.
That will be the run house for the sale.
The basement, I don't know if you said that on the call. You said it's going to be finished?
Well, it's going to be a what's that? No, it will be strictly a cement foundation, but there are no exterior entrances.
Perfect. And
But it will be a full 8-foot basement, so that whenever the property owner, if they want to turn it into a den or something.
Yeah, it's up to you guys if you want to put a condition for anything in the basement.
We're not going outside. No Bilko. We're not,
But in the covenants of restrictions, if you choose to do it at a later date.
But
that's fine.
the code has been updated now, so I don't know if you want to impose.
The current code.
But if you want to make it unfinished, then they have to come back to lift it.
Well, I wouldn't want to put that restriction on that it has to be unfinished, because then the property owner is going to have to come back here. I mean, it's a full basement. It complies with, the house complies with all the statutes, all the setbacks. So I think you're burdening the homeowner. I mean, this is a nice basement. I presume what I would do is put my man cave down there.
And then you need means of egress.
What's that?
You would need means of egress if you're going to have,
I'm sorry, Katie, what?
you would need means of egress if you're going to have a habitable space down there.
Strictly inside. And it,
So you're going to have egress windows,
yes.
entrance.
Yes, we'd have to comply with all of that, absolutely. We'd have to have the emergency exit window, yes. So it's habitable, it has to comply with New York State Code.
But you're saying that's not the plan currently, when you build the house?
We were not, we have not had any thoughts about converting it into a den or something like that.
At this,
But we would be, if it becomes, we will make it habitable and we'll put in the New York State Code windows, yes.
You put in the egress windows, and if
Yes.
you
And-
turn
and
it
there-
into a man cave, you're good to go.
And there will be no outside access to
Just the
it.
egress
No Bilkos, but you can put it in the CNRs because that's fine.
I don't know if you want to discuss the condition, discuss it for a work session if you want.
agree to it anyway, so, but we could add it in, yeah, let's add it in. Yeah,
We didn't ask if anybody wanted to be heard.
yeah, we didn't get that up for yes, okay. Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application?
I do.
You do?
In light of this being a new home, what we will stipulate is putting in the egress windows, whether it's finished or not. That way, you don't have to go through that whole rigmarole of cutting the foundation and things like that. So,
But with the corner lot, you have 2 front yards, so are they gonna be in the rear and side yard? Or
be on the side yard, I would presume. So,
so, 'cause we wouldn't want them in the front yard.
no, we wouldn't.
All right.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. We're gonna close the hearing, reserve decision. You get the decision in the mail. Let's just talk about it and straighten it out.
Thank you.
You got one for the record? You have one for the record, right? Another one.
No,
Next applicant.
you're not going to hear anything.
Next application is application 24201 of Leon Petroleum LLC, property located in Wyandanch. Name and address for the record, please.
Hello. I'm Kara Schluffman from High Point Engineering, 1860 Walt Whitman Road in Melville, representing the property owner Leon Petroleum LLC.
Okay. I do affirm to tell the truth.
Yes.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated November 7th, 2024, environmental control memo dated November 8th, 2024. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. Tax map acting as an area map, a survey by John Farantello, last dated 9/9/91. Oh, wait a minute, nope, I'm wrong. 8/29/2012, I think, is the last dated on this. And,
Chairman, there's 2 photographs.
okay, what would you like to tell us about the application?
Sure. It's an existing BP station, and we're here looking to renew the existing sign variances previously approved for the ID price ground sign, including an increase in the height from 15 feet to 19 feet 6 inches, an increase in the ID sign area from 32 square feet to 51 square feet, price sign area increase from 12 square feet to 36 square feet, to diminish the west setback from 10 feet to 4.1 feet, diminish the north setback from 10 feet to 2.1 feet, and to increase the number of signs per pole from 1 to 2.
Okay, so this is a renewal.
Correct.
No, I don't. So there was a notice of violation issued?
Yes.
Tell me about that. Is it taken care of?
It was taken care of. I do have photos taken today.
If you'd like to hand them in, and we'll make a part of the record, sure.
Showing that the ceiling tiles have been replaced. The site has also been kept clean of debris. And the owner is aware and is ensuring that his employees continue to maintain the site as needed.
But so everything's cleaned up outside too, right?
Correct.
Okay. And this is the sign that has existed for, well, when we last approved this 3 years ago?
Yes, no
Everything's
changes.
exactly the same, the sign's in good shape? Oh, yeah, I see the sign, okay, yeah, okay. All right, I have no further questions. Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. I'll make a motion to approve application 24201 for a period of 3 years.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm guessing you're staying? Next application is application 24202 of Leon Petroleum LLC, property located in Farmingdale. Name and address for the record.
Kara Schluffman from High Point Engineering, 1860 Walt Whitman Road in Melville, representing the tenant Leon Petroleum LLC.
Okay, for the record, we have a planning division memo dated November 7th, 2024. Environmental control memo dated November 8th, 2024. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. a survey by Joseph Farantello. Last dated, looks like 7/11/99. Tax map acting as an area map, and
Chairman, there's 2 photographs.
would you like to tell us about this one?
Sure. This one is another existing BP station, and we're here looking to renew the sign variances that were previously approved for the ID price sign, including permission to increase the height from 15 feet to 20 feet 10 inches, increase the area of the ID sign from 32 square feet to 51 square feet, increase the price sign area from 12 square feet to 36 square feet, diminish the south setback from 10 feet to 3 feet, diminish the east setback from 10 feet to 9 feet, and to increase the number of signs per pole from 1 to 2.
Okay, so there was some problems here with high grass and stuff like that. Is that going to be taken care of on a regular basis now, keeping the place neat and clean and so on and so forth?
Yep, the tenant and owner are aware and have agreed to make sure their employees
I
maintain as
see it was
necessary.
taken care of, but, you know, just, we don't have to, yeah, you need to maintain the property. Yeah.
Understood.
Okay, so we'll take care of that. Okay, any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. I'll make a motion to approve application 24202 for a period of 3 years.
Second.
Make sure the place stays neat.
Will do, thank you.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next application is application 116. Oh, and this is, all right. Property located in West Babylon.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Darrell J. Conway, 57 West Main Street, Babylon, New York.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated November 8th, 2024. Environmental control memo dated November 8th, 2024. Approve this application will not result in significant impact. Suffolk County, not a Suffolk County, Fire Marshal's report dated November 14th, 2024 has a valid permit. Survey by Michael Scalise dated August 7th, 2024. Tax map acting as an area map, and,
Chairman, there's 3 photographs.
okay. What would you like to tell us about the application?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. So acknowledge the memos that you just recited. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, which is 835 Collision Corp. It's located 835 Sunrise Highway, West Babylon, New York. And Suffolk County tax map is District 100, Section 160, Block 1, Lot 33. It's on the northeast corner of Sunrise Highway in Falmouth in North Babylon. It's zoned E business. This is actually, just as the memo from planning states, it's a new application, but in reality, this is merely a changing of ownership, ownership. This lot actually has had Zoning Board of Appeals approval going all the way back to 1989 as an automobile repair shop. I've been through many of them, and but the last one was in 2020, in which this board granted the application of Route 27 collision for a 5-year period. The business was owned by Jim Verdi. Mr. and Mrs. Verdi are here today. The property is owned by corporation Route 27 Holding LLC, which is owned by the Verdis. But for estate planning purposes, it was suggested that they change the ownership of the operation of the business to a new entity, and that's why we have 835 Collision Corp. That entity is owned by their son, Michael Verdi. Nothing has changed. As I said, this board felt it was their actions were appropriate and gave them an extension back in 2020 for 5 years. The business has continued. The people that operate the business are continuing, and it's merely a change of ownership because of estate planning purposes. I noticed other things about it in the memo concerning the vehicle that was for sale or displayed that is gone. They sold it, so it is off the property. They understand that was just a special exception. They do not get in the business of putting cars out there. It's really not, they don't have much space to do that. So they would not be putting cars out there for the purpose of sales. We do not have any cross easement or cross use agreement, as mentioned in the memo, for the property to the north. That's owned by a different owner and actually the building owner to the north. So the covenants and restrictions have been the same covenants and restrictions back from 1989, expanded every time it has been approved. And the covenants and restrictions that were filed in June of 2020 are also acceptable to the landlord, since they've been operating under those covenants and restrictions since prior to that. And I'd be happy to answer any other questions.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn the hearing over to Mr. Shepherd.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
So the fence to the north is not on this property? That's,
No, it's about 6 inches on,
okay, the sign is, you submitted pictures with the sign.
oh, that's, okay. That sign, or that fence is, is the abutting owner's fence.
Okay. My concern is the barbed wire that's on it.
I'd take it down, but I will, it's his fence. If you want to send somebody out with a town ID to tell
Is it
them.
attached to your building?
The fence, no.
No? All right, and you said the car's gone, right?
Yes,
Sold? And you agreed to the standard covenants and restrictions?
yes, and they,
Garage?
are filed already.
I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
You need Suffolk County Planning.
But you do, yeah.
We need Suffolk County Clerk. Okay. Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. So we're going to close the hearing, reserve decision. We need Suffolk County Planning, so
Thank you very much.
All right.
Have a good evening.
thank you. Next application, wait a minute. Next application is application 24205 of State Material Mason Supply, property located in Lindenhurst.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Dan Hurley. Work for Subsurface Engineering, located at 2300 Hines Place in Belmore, New York, representing the applicant. The property is located at 801 North Queens in Lindenhurst. The proposal is for approval for a special use permit for stone cutting and parking relaxation from 11 spaces to 9 spaces.
Okay, hold on a second, let me just read this stuff in. Do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated November 7th, 2024. Environmental Control memo dated November 12th, 2024. If we were to approve this application, it would need a negative declaration. Fire Marshal's report dated November 14th, 2024. Looks like this is still before the planning board, right?
Yes.
Tax map acting as an area map. A survey by Christopher Henn dated July 5th, 2023. And
Chairman, there's 8 photographs in the site plan by Daniel Hurley, dated August 12th, 2024.
what would you like to tell us about the application?
I'm going to go through a brief description of the property, the proposed improvements, and I have an excerpt of the site operations. We also have the owner, Frank, here, and a sales rep for the air filtration and water filtration systems, should any particular questions need answering. The property is located between North Queens Ave and North Richmond Ave. The existing building footprint of 5,380 square feet is remaining. The proposed development is to raise the roof of the building and add a mezzanine for storage to help facilitate the stone cutting operation. The proposed site improvements include 9 parking spaces, drainage improvements, new asphalt, refuse enclosure, all in conformance with the town of Babylon's requirements. That is generally what we're proposing to improve on the site, right? We're raising it so that the stone cutting facility can operate as intended. I'm going to go over a brief description of the site operations. The proposed state-of-the-art stone cutting facility will serve as a leading hub for precision stone fabrication, catering to construction, architecture, and design industries. Equipment will, with advanced technology, including CNC machinery, water jet cutters, laser-guided tools, and the facility will transform raw stone into high-quality, customized products such as countertops, flooring, cladding, and bespoke architecture elements. The facility focus on efficiency and sustainability sets it apart. The cutting-edge equipment is designed to optimize material use, reduce waste, and incorporate recycling process for stone offcuts. A water recycling system will minimize the environmental impact. The energy-efficient machinery will further enhance the facility's eco-friendly operations. The facility will operate by a skilled workforce trained in the latest stone fabrication techniques, ensuring that every product meets exact standards. The combination of technology and expertise will enable the facility to handle both large-scale commercial projects and individual custom orders, offering flexibility and high precision. Overall, this facility will elevate the quality and efficiency of stone fabrication, meeting the growing demand of customized high-end stone products while maintaining a strong commitment to sustainability. The facility is intended to operate from 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Intended to have 4 employees, 3 of which would be skilled fabricators, and 1 would be a foreman overseeing the operations. That is generally how the site will operate. I understand we have to comply with certain requirements in order to get granted the stone cutting operation special use permit. I'll go through them now and briefly describe how we're addressing each one. All waste from stone cutting machinery shall be adequately captured, combined, and recycled, set forth on an engineering plan. The wastewater is going to be captured in trench drains, which will gravity flow to an advanced water filtration system. The intent of the modern system is to be a closed loop system where the filtration systems remove any impurities, discoloration, and debris from the water in the filtration process, and then that water essentially gets reused. So it's, little to nothing added or taken out. And that's also shown on our engineering plans. Wastewater in the work area shall be captured within suitable trenches so as to not create standing water in the work area as set forth by an interior drainage plan, which we provide. There's no discharge of wastewater into exterior stormwater drainage systems. There shall be an engineered air filtration duct system to capture all dust emissions from the stone cutting machinery. No dust shall be discharged outside the building or structure in which the stone cutting operation is located. There is intended to be three air filtration systems located in specific locations throughout the warehouse where dust is created by the certain machines that create dust. A lot of these machines are water jet, so there should be minimal dust, and where there is dust where they're doing the finishing by hand or whatnot, the filtration systems will be located there and maintained by the workers to make sure the warehouse is habitable and clean. Lastly, stone cutting operations shall comply with all applicable federal, state, and local regulations, including those of the Occupation Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, the State Department of Environmental Conservation, and Suffolk County Department of Health Services. All the workers are intended to be skilled workers, trained by the people who, by the equipment manufacturers. The employees will also be certified in OSHA as required, and the filtration systems that we impose will be maintained by the workers and will ensure compliance with the DEC. That's what I have as my presentation. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn the hearing over to Mr. Rigney.
Do you guys have a current building permit right now? I noticed that work had already began on the property today. I noticed the roof was raised, you have steel beams, and it's just a shell. But I did notice construction already began on site. Is there a current building permit?
Not that I'm aware of.
That's an issue. With that being said, how high is that building?
I think it's
How high is it gonna be?
33.
No, it's under.
It's under the the required height. I think it's
Do you
30.
know what, do you know what that number is?
Not offhand.
30 feet.
Okay.
From what I saw today, again, to the eye, it seems pretty high. We would like to know how high is that building currently, that shell?
Okay.
All right.
It's designed to be under
Needs-
30.
Okay.
You're gonna need plans showing that, okay?
We have architectural plans showing that. We could submit that to the board. I don't have them with me, but we could definitely substantiate those.
Where is the parking going to be, in the front or in the rear?
We have parking in both the front and the rear. The ADA compliant spot and a few other spots are located in the front, and then additional parking in the rear as needed.
Now, is this going to be open to public where they come look at, or just strictly to orders, or how does that work?
This is strictly a production facility. It's not open to the public. The owner Frankie intends to sell and display the material at his multiple other sites throughout Long Island where it's intended
This
for
ain't going to
public.
be a showroom, this is
No.
not going to be a public place in and out type thing.
Correct, not intended for the open public.
Now, do you guys have the proper capacity in your work area for the men with, the filtration of the air and stuff like that? Is it going to be safe for the men, obviously?
Yes, yeah, if you would like, we could have Joe sitting in the back give a little description of how the air filtration and water filtration systems work.
I'll take your word, as long as it's all,
Okay.
suitable for the men.
All meets OSHA standards?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, other than the building being already, erected, I had a little issue with that when I saw that. Other than that, I have no further questions as far as the business goes, Mr. Chairman. Maintenance schedule, I'm being asked. Do you guys have a maintenance schedule of the equipment and stuff like that, a service of the filtration systems? And
There is one being worked on. We don't have one to present before the board currently, but there is intended to be an established maintenance of all the filtration systems and the machinery.
would we like to have that, Anthony?
Sounds like the type of equipment that needs regular
Servicing.
service.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, I got no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application?
Good evening.
Hey, name and address for the record, please.
John Ewan, 690 North Queens Avenue, Lindenhurst.
Okay. And do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
What would you like to tell us?
It was very helpful, what I heard here. You guys asked many of the questions. I did. I'm not really sure of the format here. But
Yes,
a question,
you can-
a question
whatever
that I would
comments you wanna
have, the filtration system is are all the filters and stuff located within the confines of the building, or are there any roof-mounted where they're going to do filter changes and, you know, the dust ends up on our cars? That's one question. I believe the gentleman stated that all of the water would be captured inside the building. Want to make sure that nothing runs out into the street because you have the fines and it ends up on our cars. Parking, very tight parking in the area with 4 employees. I would assume that might mean 4 cars. It sounds like they have plenty of parking for that. I thought I read somewhere that maybe a driveway apron being expanded and taking away some street parking, or was that my imagination?
Let's see, we're checking. What else you got? Anything?
So I think you guys asked the question, will they be delivering the sold material, or will they be having trucks coming from their clients to pick up their products? Is there going to, I'm wondering how it's going to add to the traffic and, again, parking.
We're going to answer the questions when, you know, you...
Okay. That's basically it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
We'll
very
get you the
much.
answer to these questions in a minute here. All right. Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. Okay, come on back. So the filtration systems, is anything going to be on the roof, or is it all internal? How's that work?
It's, all the filtration systems are wall mounted inside. They suck in the air and use a waterfall system, right? So it's almost like it sucks the air through water to take out the particulates. And nothing gets exhausted outside, and it all gets captured in filters maintained inside the systems.
So if it goes through water, where is the water going? At some point, that water has to be turned over somehow, right?
It gets captured and filtered within the equipment.
Okay.
And how and when is it removed, the silt, the waste?
It would,
Come on up. Yeah, come on up. You're up. Technical questions. Name and address. Name and address, wait. Name and address for the record.
Joe Feist, Feist Machine Service, 885 Sylvan Avenue, Bayport, New York.
Okay, and do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes,
Okay. Go ahead.
Feist. FBI, yes, correct. 885 Sylvan Avenue, Bayport, 11705. Okay, now, we've been doing this for like 30 years.
No, we can talk about it.
So silica's a hot topic in the industry, so. So we have a contained unit, you know, you have water that sits in the bottom, we have a pump. Pumps it up, sprays it, fills it like a Japanese water wall. So we have fans that suck all that dust gets sucked into the water, plus we have also a secondary filter before the fans. So everything hits the water, goes down, so you're gonna get a slurry buildup at the bottom of a contained tank. And when it's time to clean it, they open the valve, it goes into this water system. Water system will then discharge that into slurry bags, which then are eco-friendly and get disposed of accordingly.
So somebody comes and picks up those bags, or?
Yeah. You know, we have a service company here that we handle a lot of service for our customers. We also train them how to maintain their own equipment, so
So you're the guys that are picking it up?
the guys that do everything.
Okay.
All right? Could provide you a video if you like. I sent them a video, I emailed them a video because
Will YouTube it?
it's tough to explain some of these things, but it's
Okay,
not a problem.
sounds good. I think that was it. The other thing was about,
Everything's contained.
everything's contained.
Yeah.
Inside,
System,
nothing's
dust system.
outside, no filters on the roof, none of that kind of stuff.
I know it. I come to shops, and when I see the dust, like his concern, I tell customers, you gotta do this because your neighbors are gonna be very unhappy, so he's doing everything very high-end compliant.
Okay, sounds good.
I need a lot more people that work like this, trust me.
Great.
Okay, that answers one of your questions. Come on back up and talk to us about deliveries, either coming or going or whatever. I mean, product has to come in and then it goes out, right?
Right, so being that the site is set up to have an entrance off of North Queens and an exit off of, onto Richmond. So the site, we're repositioning the garage doors, and the intention is to have a truck drive into the warehouse We have overhead cranes that pick the equipment off, and then the truck drives out. So the truck shouldn't be there for long, and there wouldn't be parking on site or any of that. So that's how the deliveries are intended to work. And there was a question about parking and apron.
Curb cut, yeah.
The curb cut apron. Really what we're doing is repositioning the curb cut apron to be more centered in the property. So you'd have full height curb on either side. It's almost like an equal swap, and the curb apron, the curb cut meets the minimum requirements for the town, which is 30 feet flat with 2.5 foot
Gentleman's
flares.
question too was about traffic and stuff. So this, you're not creating real traffic because it's just deliveries?
All
coming,
on-site?
going, all
Right.
Sounds like deliveries are going to be all internal.
Correct. Correct. They would drop off the material.
We're not
leave, they would-
anticipating a lot of deliveries and stuff like that, or is it like daily, or?
I think it would depend on the orders. I think,
I was just thinking of that.
right. But, you know, being that they're cutting stone, you know, they would get dropped off and then wouldn't have to come for a while. And then picked up the finished material the next day or two.
Is it the deliveries 8 to 5 also within those hours? When are the deliveries or?
Well, the intention would be to have the ability to deliver 8 to 5.
All right, so nothing overnight, nothing out of the
No.
ordinary hours?
No.
You guys are in commercial area, I understand that, but, you know, there are residents behind you. Is there a noise decibel that's gonna be crazy in this place? What's the noise like?
I don't anticipate, the machinery is state of the art, and it's as quiet as can be. When it's set up properly, you could be standing right next to it and have a
Nothing bother
conversation.
neighbors within those hours?
No.
Did you happen to read the planning memo of the conditions if this was to be approved?
Yes.
There's 7 conditions, did you read them?
Mm-hmm.
You agree to those?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I got no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard, or would anybody else like to be heard on the application? Not usually, but come on up, real quick. Usually it's one shot, but I'll give you another shot, there's nobody here.
With those answers to the questions, I'm wondering how long the trucks are that are going to be delivering and picking up. And the reason I asked that question, the way the gentleman described it, is going to go in the front of the building, truck's going to come out the back. There will be cars parked across the street from his apron, and there will probably be cars parked right up to his apron. Is he going to have tractor trailers? Is he going to have straight jobs?
We'll get the answer to that question.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Randolph.
thank you. Sure, come on up. We'll get the person who knows what we're talking, asking
Thank you.
for. Name and address for the record.
Frank Nicolia, 30 The Moore, East Islip.
You affirm to tell the truth.
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
So as far as the trucks, yeah, I have tractor trailers, I have smaller trucks. Most of the orders would be small. I mean, if somebody would like a whole truckload of material, of stone, that's great. But I have different size trucks. As far as unloading and loading, if there was a large truck, my family does own the property across the street. We could just run the stuff over there where the yard is much larger and to not block up traffic. In our Westbury store, we're on a very busy road, and we bring everything on the property. We don't make much congestion at all. So entering the property with the smaller truck is obviously much easier. And I'm familiar with that back street, and it's very tight. I would not even attempt a tractor trailer to exit that way. It wouldn't make sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and as far as the customers, I'm not expecting customers to go there to pick up. I have 4 locations on Long Island. That's where the sales happen. So the material comes in for specific jobs, go back out with my trucks to their respective locations where the order was placed. I have Westbury, Deer Park, Kings Park, and Riverhead. Customers will pick up there. So I don't want customers there.
Yeah.
All right.
Very quiet. Good. Thank you.
Yeah, so, come back up for a second, please. So, nothing else should be done there until you submit the plans showing us how that building, the size of the building, the height in particularly, you know what I mean? But you gotta submit those plans as soon as you can, but we shouldn't be doing any more work until that's done. This work shouldn't have been done to begin with, so. All right?
Understood.
Okay. All right, we're going to close the hearing and reserve decision until we get your plans, and once we got them and everything's good, we'll move the application, okay? Thank you. That was seven. Next application is... Next application is application 24207. That application is being adjourned until December the 12th. The next application is application 24206 of Montefiore Cemetery, the property located in West Babylon. Name and address for the record, please.
Sure. It's Bill Hennessy, 11 Chester Court in Huntington. I am the architect for the cemetery, and we are here to renew a special use permit and along with an outdoor storage area.
Do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated November 8th, 2024. Excuse me. Environmental Control Memo dated November 8th, 2024. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A tax map acting as an area map. A survey by John Robinson dated July 13th, 2009. And
Chairman, there's 4 photographs in the site plan by William J. Hennessy dated May 23rd, 2019.
okay.
And this also just needs an amendment since it's new on
Oh, okay. So I make a motion to amend the application to read New Montefiore Cemetery Corporation.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, we left the new out, okay. What would you like to tell us about the application?
Well, essentially, the cemetery uses this facility to maintain and service their automobiles and trucks used to maintain and operate the cemetery on the other side of the road. The outdoor storage area is essentially used for vehicles that are returned at the end of the day that don't leave the premises. And it gives us a location to put them within a fenced area in the maintenance facility. We don't really want the outdoor storage separately fence enclosed since the entire maintenance facility is fence enclosed already. You had previously granted us a approval for 5 years. The operation has been in existence at this location since 1960. It's strictly private, strictly used just for servicing cemetery vehicles. The cemetery had asked if it's possible to extend that beyond 5 years. We'd love to come and see you guys, but they've been here for forever and intend to stay that way. They've been a good neighbor. There's no violations. They maintain the property very well. With that, we ask your permission to please grant our request.
Okay. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Shepherd.
How are you?
Good.
Yes, it is very well kept. Would you agree to the previously imposed standard conditions for covenants and restrictions for a public garage?
Well, it's not a public garage.
It's the way the law, that's the way it's written, right? That's the covenants and restrictions applied to all garages.
Yeah, I mean, whatever we have previously agreed to, sure.
You do agree?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman. Yep.
Yeah, we need fire marshal on this too, so. We need the fire marshal. We'll probably get that by next week. It's just come in. It's nothing for you to do on that.
Okay.
So. We're going to close the hearing, reserve decision for the fire marshal. As soon as we get it, we'll move the application. All
Very
right.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, have a nice evening.
The last application is application 24204. That is being adjourned to November the 21st. That concludes the Zoom portion of our meeting. We now will continue with the work session portion.